to introduce our next keynote speaker, Polestar's UK Chief Executive, Head of Global Communications for them as well, Jonathan Goodman, who is on the line. The virtual stage, Jonathan, is yours.
Thanks very much indeed. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and a great privilege to be able to speak at the SMMT Electrified conference and to have a little bit of time to talk about Polestar and what it is that we bring to the industry as it accelerates its way into the world of electrification. With a government that's driving industry to a non-diesel and a non-petrol future by 2030, I think it's important that we have some new entrants who are entirely focused on electric cars to help drive the industry transition that we're going through. To help that, we also need a government to actually be consistent in its policies, not make the sudden changes that we've seen recently, which make life confusing for our consumers and make it complicated for us as manufacturers. So Polestar, we're a standalone electric performance car brand. We're a digital brand with a direct-to-consumer approach. And as a new brand, we've been able to reimagine a little bit our route to market and enabled us to be hugely adaptable and flexible in these changing circumstances that we all face. Think it through. We're an electric performance car brand at the time when every manufacturer in the world is starting to introduce new electric models. Where the governments are accelerating the move into electrification and into a zero-emission environment, paving the way for the continued growth of an already dynamic EV segment. But unlike the rest of the industry, we don't have any legacy model to contend with. One of the big challenges that is going to be facing the traditional OEMs over the next few years is how do they move into electrification without alienating the petrol and diesel owners that they have currently. We do not have. We're 100% electric and able to focus on that entirely. Polestar is cars with an avant-garde design, in pure line. Out cars that are great to look at, cars that are great to drive. And we're not a virtual company either. Polestar is up and running with the Polestar 2, taking 6% of the EV market in the UK year to date. Demand remains high, and in my humble opinion, with its great looks, design, state-of-the-art technology, connectivity, blistering electric performance and driving dynamics, it's very much a car for the modern era. Then when you add into the fact that from day one, we wanted to be a digital brand, at the very time when the world is shifting and the e-commerce is accelerating, for example, in the UK, we saw last year a 46% increase in online e-commerce based on the ONS statistics. We're well able to benefit from this trend. From the onset, we wanted to enable our customers to be able to interact with the brand completely online if they should wish. They can find out about the brand, configure a car, order a car, pay for a car, organize a test drive, and get it delivered to them without ever leaving their home if that's what they wish. The last 12 months, the dreadful pandemic that we've all had to face up to, have reinforced the fact that this is the way in which the economy is moving. As people have gone online in their droves, it's not going to be a trend that is going to change or disappear on us. And we as an industry have to make sure that we meet the trend and go increasingly online. But we also need to reflect that this is an expensive luxury item. And this demands an omnichannel approach. And that's the way that we've set up Polestar from day one. We want our customers to be able to interact with us whenever, wherever, and however they choose. So Polestar is unashamedly omnichannel. If our customer wants to do everything online without physical interaction with the brand, they can. If they want to speak to someone and ask their questions, they can via our network of global call centers. And if they want to visit the brand, see the car, touch the car, and drive the car, they can do that as well. Because Polestar is setting up a network of Polestar spaces in all the countries we operate in. Around 50 of those spaces are up and running today, and our intention is a simple one and a bold one. We want to change the face of automotive retail. The spaces will be smaller and more intimate. They'll be around 250 square meters. They'll be where our customers already go to shop, on high streets or in high-end malls. Why should the customer still have to drive out of town to visit their showroom? We want to be where the customer already has to go and offer them an environment that's intimate and not intimidating. And we're not constrained by a legacy of existing dealership that the other OEMs are done. We can decide exactly where we want to place these. But the change doesn't end there, because our spaces are and always will be operated entirely by non-commissioned product experts. Their role's a simple one. It's to answer the customer questions. So if the customer comes in and wants a quick overview because they're short of time, they can have that. But equally, if they want an in-depth explanation of the batteries and their technology, they can get that too. And nobody is going to be pushing an order form under the customer's nose. And why is that? Very simply, the customer will always sign online. And because we will not be wholesaling any vehicles into the space operator, the customer will decide on the car that they want, not the car that's parked round the back with a bonus on it. We believe passionately that the purchase experience should be fun, and we're setting out to put the fun back into the process. One of the other pinch points is the frustration about the whole after-sales process, and we wanted to reimagine this. So in all our markets, we'll operate pickup and delivery after sales. Means you don't have to leave your home and office. We will come and take your car, take it away, service it, bring it back, and then when you come out in the afternoon or the evening, your car will be there and we'll have washed and cleaned it for good measure. You can then just focus on what this is all about, which is driving what we believe is a fabulous product. And the product will always be up to date, because with over-the-air updates ensuring that functionality is always improved throughout the life of the car. And this has already been launched in the UK by Polestar. And we believe it's critical to reimagine the automotive business model and to modernize the way in which we treat and which we interact with customers. And the whole approach that we've taken and our direct-to-consumer approach ensures that Polestar is in a great position to deliver exactly that. But we also need to have a product that is adapted to the requirements of the modern-day customer. Customers have never been more connected than they are today. If you look at their connected lives, what's going on at home, never have we been more connected. And yet the car has for far too long been something which is a break in your connected life, offering a fraction of the functionality that you have while you're at home. Well, those days are over with the Polestar 2. With Android Auto integrated into the car, our customers have links to their Google accounts, to their Spotify account. They can play their playlists. They'll have Google Maps, which will always be up to date. And they'll have a voice recognition system that actually works, meaning that they can focus on keeping their hands on the wheel. And the great thing is that that technology is there when they want it and when they want to use it, not at all times. So we're just helping them to facilitate their connected life in the way in which they want to do it. So we've had a successful launch of Polestar. Maybe it's a case of we're the right brand at the right time, and we're very pleased to be in that situation. But what of the future? Well, 2021 will see us broaden the Polestar 2 range, introducing new variants. And then we've already given a glimpse of our future with the unveiling of the Precept. Now, Precept is not a concept car. It's a foretaste of the design and avant-garde styling and the high technological content that will underpin and characterize our brand. Pure design, exciting performance, and a real statement of sustainability with innovative and sustainable materials, both inside and outside the car. These traits all underline our brand promise of pure, progressive performance. We all have the privilege of working in an industry that has changed many times through its history. And we're in another era of tremendous change now, with an industry that's becoming more electric, an industry that's becoming increasingly digital. And I'm delighted to say that my belief, my humble, though perhaps not unbiased opinion, is that Polestar is a brand that is well adapted to meet this challenge.
Jonathan,
thank you very much.
Jonathan, that was really fascinating. Thank you very much. A couple of questions. I mean, the first, you mentioned growth. What drives growth? Because here we've been talking all morning about incentivization and about infrastructure. From your perspective as a company that is obviously seeing growth in this area, what's the driver?
Well, I think growth starts with customer appeal. We have to make sure that we're producing products that are relevant, products that appeal to the customer, as a starter for 10. And then I think we have to look at the fact that we're in an industry where probably 96% of the people coming into electric cars have no experience of them. So they've got a number of expectations, both from the manufacturer and from the government. And I think that one of the key ones that we're finding, we've found over the last 7-8 months, is they want to know that the infrastructure is there for them, the charging infrastructure, meaning that they can take on those long journeys without worrying about it, and that the electric car can be very much a car that suits their lifestyle. So I think not only is it having a car that appeals, but it's also having that infrastructure behind.
And persuading people it's fun to drive, which is also something we've kind of touched on during the course of the morning, but I don't think possibly enough, actually, that particularly for a petrol head and for someone who isn't convinced, that this is it's not just like driving a Dodgem, it's a bit more than that.
No, I mean, I think the modern day electric car is a hugely sophisticated piece of kit. They are fantastic cars to drive. The acceleration, if people haven't driven an electric car, the acceleration on these cars is absolutely breathtaking. We did a number of test drive events where we had little GoPro cameras in the thing, and it got the same reaction every time with someone who was new to an electric car. When they press the accelerator, they and the passenger both go, "Whoa!" But they are, and they are enormously fun to drive, but they're also great cars to drive, and the driving dynamics and chassis technology is fantastic. And with ranges over 200 miles, it's also a car that's perfectly adapted to the modern day usage. So I think the biggest factor for us is making sure we get people into the cars and not give them the opportunity to discover it. Once they do that, we don't have any problem at all in converting them to the joys of electric car driving.
Yeah, because it wasn't that long ago. I mean, it was at SMMT events, which I've been doing for many years, and we had sort of earnest discussions about whether people could ever be persuaded, actually, that it was fun to drive. There was something kind of utilitarian and unsexy, actually, about an electric vehicle. Have we moved beyond that now?
Oh, listen, I think we've moved beyond it, and that's not just me speaking as Polestar. I think that you look at all of our colleagues and competitors around who have launched electric cars. Every single one of those cars is absolutely fabulous to drive, and I think that's part of the education that we as an industry have to do. Let people experience it, because I think once they've experienced it, once they've experienced the silence that comes with it as well, the calm that you can have in an electric car, I don't think people will ever go back. And I think that it's no surprise to see the growth that we're getting and other manufacturers are getting at the same time.
I was really interested in what you said about the buying experience, because that's something also we discussed at SMMT events down the ages, the dealership experience, what direction it's going to go in, the extent to which it's reasonable to ask people to kind of choose everything online. You've obviously gone a long way down the road that you think works. Do you think others are going to follow you?
I guess it's for them to answer. I think the difficulty is that a lot of manufacturers have a legacy of their dealer networks who do a great job for them. We had the opportunity to reimagine what's the way we take it forward. How can we actually be genuinely customer focused? And the reality was that, yes, people want to be able to experience an awful amount online, but we've got to be omnichannel, because it's a bit like buying a house. You buy a house, you're going to do a lot of research online, but you're not going to buy it until you've stepped inside it. And it's the same, I believe, with a car, that we give people the opportunity to take the nastiness of ordering a car out and the negotiation and discussions, enable them to have a clear price and buy the car online, but also give them that opportunity to step inside a showroom, but a showroom that's where they're already going to shop. I mean, I think that's the key thing for me, that somewhere where they can go, somewhere where it's not going to be intimidating, it's not huge, it's actually quite comforting to go into, and they know that no one's going to try and sell them anything because they are buying the car online. And I think that changes the whole dynamic, enables them to ask the question, them to actually lead the way through, and meet people who are fabulously informed on the product and are passionate about one thing, and that's answering the customer's queries. Yeah. And I think if we get that right, you change the automotive purchase experience. And I think that it's a real opportunity for us to drive it forward. And the other manufacturers will go in their own way. I can't really speak for what they want to do. We believe categorically that it's the way forward.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose the reason I asked that question is partly because, look, we're all aware, aren't we, of what's happening to city centres at the moment, the kind of enormous flux that there is, and some big stores closing, and a kind of real question about why anyone actually is going to shop, whether they're going to be going to shop in the future. It's interesting to have from you a kind of vote of confidence, as it were, that there are going to be spaces that you need to be going to, but you're not going to be drawing people outside. You're going to be part of a kind of new infrastructure inside a city centre, because it's bigger than, well, it's bigger than auto, isn't it? It's about the way we live in the longer term future.
Yeah, I mean, also be frank, I don't see us popping ourselves into a high street that's got boarded up shops left, right, and centre. I think there are still going to be hugely big, important areas of city centres that are alive and vibrant, and you see that already. Sometimes it will be in shopping malls, and we're down at Westfield in London, just up from the BBC Centre in Shepherd's Bush. The footfall is absolutely colossal, and people enjoy being able to come in and experience the car and try the car in there. So I think it's a case of looking at each city where you want to be in and saying, what's the right location? What it isn't for me is outside of the city in an area where someone's going to have to take a specific drive to get there, and there are no other shops that they want to visit in and around. I think we've got to look beyond that, and we've got to say, where does the customer want to come? And I believe that will be in vibrant high streets and also in high-end shopping malls.
Fascinating stuff. Jonathan Goodman, thank you very much for sparing the time to talk to us.